Broncos, Souths and New South Wales great Adam Reynolds for the first time. Welcome to the Mowers Club.
Thank you. How are we going?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Ren. Did you catch the game last night, mate? We just got a little bit of audio there for Nathan Cleary talking about Jerome Law. You know better than anyone going up against them over the last couple of years, mate. What a great combination those two have been.
Yeah, they are. I've seen the game last night and what an impact Nathan Cleary makes. Obviously, a big part of that team, and showed his true value last night. But yeah, like you said, they complement each other nicely. It's a bit of yin and yang. He's a steady head, and Jerome plays off the cuff, and that's why they're so good together.
Mate, we had Raps on early on in the show, and I just asked him, from an outsider looking in, you can have your opinion on it, but yeah, like I said, you're probably one of the best to ask. Like, what makes them so good, mate? And what's if you could pinpoint one thing that they do better than any other team, what would you say it is?
I think they just stick to their structures. They believe in the system and it works. They've been doing it for so long now, and if you look at their best set to their worst set, there's not much difference between it.
Yep.
And when it's so consistent like that, and they're doing it, for 80 minutes, and they're relentless at it, it just puts teams on edge. They do it better than anyone else.
The Panthers absolutely blew the Roosters off the park in that first 40 minutes. 22 from 22 sets completed. The game was all but over at halftime after that 24-0 scoreline. If any team knows how to match the Panthers blow for blow in that first 40 minutes, it's you guys. It's the Broncos. You did it in the grand final. What did you guys talk about before that grand final, and how did you match them for intensity in that first 40?
I thought they were all over us in that point, to be honest. Look, we hung on. Obviously, extremely high. I think they had one error for the game, one in that first half, and they're relentless at building pressure. So you obviously got to just try and throw something different that they haven't seen before, and you got to chance your hand from time to time and try and upset their systems. But they're so good at what they do, and they just fall straight back into it.
When you're talking about the grand final last night, mate, when you look back on the season now, it would not only from the outside looking in, but I'd imagine getting so close, there's so much expectations on you this year. When you look back on the season, what's sort of one thing where you thought from your end, just as an individual, where you're like, probably could have done that a little bit better, which then in turn would have helped out the team in the season just gone, mate?
Yeah, it's a hard one, Scott. A lot of injuries and whatnot played a part. We had a shorter pre-season, which is not ideal for a season. There's a lot of expectations, like you said. Probably just getting on top of it sooner, recognising that the season wasn't going the way that we liked, and just trying to put a stop to it earlier. After late in the season, it's a bit too late to try and catch up and change the way things are going. But yeah, obviously pretty disappointed the way it finished. It gives us a great opportunity for a bigger pre-season next year and hopefully come back and do something great. When
will you start that pre-season?
Early November, which is it's going to be the longest for in quite some time. Yeah, it's nice and hot up there in Brizzy. But looking forward to it. It's one that we need, and no doubt as a team we're looking forward to getting back into it.
Will you spend some time back in Sydney with friends and family back here before pre-season?
Yeah, I'm currently down at Sydney at the moment for a mate's birthday. I had a good night out last night with a couple of the boys, brother, cousin, who I haven't seen in a long time. So it's always good to get back down and see a few mates and, refresh and get ready to go again.
Mate, like I said before, we had Jordan Rapiner on a little bit earlier. Got the golf day coming up. I'd imagine you're probably going to head home and we'll get you back down to it. Have you had a chance to, now that the season's sort of wrapped up, get a little bit of golf in? Because just like Geordie Raps, you're one of the better rugby league / golfers that we're going to have on the day, mate. So how's the game, and what's the best part of your game too in golf?
I've had to readjust lately after the old bicep injury. I've
only
played one or two games since coming back. I'm actually heading out to Century Cove to play with Louis Dobler. I don't know if you boys know. Louis is a young pro. He won the New Zealand Open not too long ago. So try and get some tips off him and, try and get a few games in and get some confidence before I get down here.
Who's going to be your partner?
I'm still working on that, actually. We had a couple of the boys from the team. There could be a combination between a couple of the teams too. So the Illawarra team, it could be Benny Hunt that I could be pairing him up with on the day as well.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Benny Hunt doesn't mind his golf, and a couple of veteran halves, little cranky halves together, mate. I'm looking at some chat between a couple of the older boys getting to the back end of their career. I think those two would be a good little partnership that I could be putting together. Mate, at the back end of the season, you go through reviews and you probably sit down and it was disappointing. Have you had a chance to chat to any of the other boys specifically? Did you sort of sit down with, like, because you're clearly the senior player and the captain of the team. Was there any of the boys that you reached out to specifically and just had a chat about how you want to attack this preseason specifically?
Not quite yet. We sat down and reviewed the season. We had a questionnaire amongst the whole team about things we want to improve and get better as a team, and I think it was a good way of doing it. Gives everyone a voice. Gives us something to focus on moving forward. But obviously, as the season and pre-season approaches, so I'll sit down with a couple of senior boys and obviously all get on the same page and move in the one direction.
You've got new staff coming in, new assistant coaches in Ben Teo and Trent Barry. Looking forward to working with those two.
Yeah, I am. I've obviously played a bit of footy with Benny, so I know him quite well. I think he'll.
Oh, we just lost him there. Brooksy's going to work to get him back up. Too, Ren. I'm just telling the story. During those early years of use at the Rabbitohs, I used to have some, I was on the left edge for Manly. Ren and Benny Teo were on the right. A couple of times we went up against each other, and Benny Teo had some of the best chat.
Really,
all in good fun that I can remember, mate. He was a tough opponent to go against, and he's been working with the Dolphins too with their defence. I seen some stuff doing some tackle tech with the Dolphins as well, mate.
Yeah, he's been coaching their Cup side. I think he's done a great job there. Obviously, know a few of the boys there, and the feedback's been good. So he's a great character of the game, and he's got a great personality. And he's also got that side of him, like you mentioned, in games where it can be brutal with his vocal and his defence. So I think it's going to rub off well onto a couple of boys.
Reno, when you went up against a Manly edge of Horo, Foran, Matai, and Tafua, who are you spotting out in defence there?
Definitely wasn't Horo. He's got big shoulders, Horo. He's got them bony shoulders, mate.
So you'd rather go to a Matai or a Tafua?
Just kick it in behind them, mate.
That's a great answer, mate. You're looking ahead at the playoffs and the final still coming up. Penrith is super impressive. The obvious candidate to really compete against them is the Melbourne Storm. How do you see the playoffs or the finals playing out, mate? And who's the biggest threat to the three-time champs?
Yeah, I think Melbourne. I just think the way they're playing and going about their business. I mean, Jerome Hughes has been the best player this season by a mile. And the way he's playing at the moment just breeds confidence amongst everyone in that team. So we come up against them in the last round and unfortunately got a taste of it. But look, if anyone can knock off Penrith, it's definitely Melbourne. Yeah,
what's the difference between the Melbourne Storm of last year, where obviously you guys were going so great, they're always so consistent, but it looks like, you talked about the health of you guys at the start of the year. It feels like they've got healthy at the right time of the season as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. They obviously had a few injuries and whatnot, Munster not being there, in and out, at the start of the year. But like you said, they've come good at the right time. Obviously, getting everyone back on deck for the last 6-7 weeks has helped them. And obviously, they had a freshen up just before the finals. So, look, they're a team playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing extremely well. And, the money's on them to obviously win it.
Reno, really appreciate your time this morning. This is the time of the morning when the punters start sharpening their pencil and looking towards the afternoon's game. So I might just quickly run through the last 3 games of the round for you and get a tip off you, and a 1-12 or a 13 plus. Starting with the Storm taking on the Sharks this afternoon at Amy Park.
I think the Storm 13 plus.
Ooh.
Then we go up to Townsville. Cowboys take on the Knights.
I like the Cowboys in a tight one, 1-12.
All right, the last game, you're going to offend someone here because I'm a Bulldog and Scope, of course, is a Sea Eagle.
This is the Mowers Cup, mate.
Tomorrow at Accor Stadium, Bulldogs take on the Eagles.
I think Manly get it in a tight one.
1-12.
What they did a couple of weeks ago. They're still fresh in their minds, so they'll be confident going to do it.
Alrighty, there we go. Love your work, Reno. Thanks for joining us on the Mowers Club. Good luck in the golf day. Scope, I'll leave it with you as to who you pair the great man with.
Yeah, really excited. Reno, thanks for joining us on the Saturday morning in Mowers, mate. I really appreciate it. It's looking forward to seeing you on the golf day too, October 3rd, and you can get all the details for that with us at a Levels Network. Go on our Instagram page. But I'll see you in a couple of weeks, mate.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, boys. Thank you.
Cheers, Ren.